Hey everybody, what's up? We are back. Today we're going to have some fun. We're going to build our very own calculator. So I already have some of the basic HTML and CSS and JavaScript folders set up. If you need any help getting into this, I made a previous video on the basics of setting up your HTML site right over here. And then I've split the page so that way we could have some live refreshing. So let's go ahead and save time and let's just jump on into this, and we are just going to build a very standard calculator. It's not going to be perfect, it's not going to be fixed, it's just going to work. There are going to be some bugs systematically that you would want to fix, but for now we just want to focus on the prime, getting a calculator to work and do a couple functions, because that's a big step for a lot of people, and I know making a calculator can be a very daunting thing. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So first thing that we're going to want to do is let's just go ahead and get our name of, we'll just say JavaScript calculator. And then let's go and make a little div. I'll just make this an ID. Be a little bit easier. We're all going to use it once. Calculator, and we are going to be wrapping our whole calculator in a form element, just like that. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So first thing we're going to need is a display, something for when you click the button, something that pops up that is going to give us a display. And for that, we're going to want to do an input type, and we're going to want to do text, and we're going to give this an ID of display. Jump down, and then we're going to want to have a quick little break there, give it some space in between the buttons. And then now it's going to get a bit repetitive. This is where we're going to do our inputs. Now on these are going to be our buttons. These are going to be our keys that we press on the calculator. So on these, whoa, that's not what I meant to do. We're going to do type button. Just like that, and we're going to make a specific class for all these called keys, just to make it a little bit easier. And we'll make our first value C, and we're going to do a JavaScript function called onClick, and our function in JavaScript will be add to screen, and this will be C. Very simple, very fun. And then basically what we're going to do, let me see if I can back this up. I don't know if y'all will be able to see it any better or worse. But basically what we can do is take this line and we can just duplicate it a couple times and change a couple of these factors. So for the next key, we're just going to do a clear entry. So this is going to just do like almost like a backspace. So let's just make a backspace function, just like that, and then we're gonna change this where there's nothing needed in there. And then let's jump over here. Let's make a power key. We'll make it cube thing. So we'll say x to the third, and then we'll say another function. We'll make it called power to the third power. Alright, and then now let's add our very final. I want to have all of our addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication symbols on the right. So on this we're going to have the same thing, and this value will make the addition, and we'll do onClick, add to screen, plus, just like that. Now that that's ended, we will do another break. That's our first row. We're going to do 4 buttons. Let's do another input. Actually, let's just copy that line again, just like that. Now we're going to have input type button keys, and now you have to think, whenever you're writing a calculator, you have to think about the buttons backwards. So normally you think 7, 8, 9, but on the calculator they're backwards. At least, you know, you can do it however way you want. I don't really care, but I'm gonna do it this way because this is the way I would like it. I think it really doesn't matter honestly. You could really do it whatever way, but we're just going to do it this way for the purpose of the video. Maybe I'll change it later. We'll see. And then this becomes very repetitive. So we have the same thing. It's the input type button, class, keys. The value is 9, and the function is the add to screen. And then we're passing in 9 as a parameter. And I'll show you in JavaScript why we do that in just a moment. So let's just go ahead and copy and paste that a couple times. We'll change this to 8, 7, and then we'll make this our minus. So same thing, 8, 7, minus. Break it. The break tag, by the way, if you don't know, is used to create a new line in the HTML. It is just a line break. And right here, same thing, same general idea. 6, 4, and we'll do multiplication. 6, 5, 4, and there we go. Keep on going down. Add another break there. We'll do. Keep doing that. And then 3, 2, 1, and then finally division. And same thing. This is our parameter that we're going to be, or our argument that we're going to be passing in over here on the side, and that's why I'm adding this on click. This is a JavaScript function that you can put in HTML. And then let's add our bottom keys. I'm going to make the equal sign a little bit bigger, that way it fills in, because that's just the only thing I can think of at the moment to put there. So let's just go like this. Oh my god, I did that every single time. Put it twice. So this will be our 0 value. This will be our decimal, and this will be our equals. So we'll have to do this a little bit different. This is going to have a different class. Make this class equal. Make the value equal sign, and we will do a new function, and we will just call this function answer. Keep it simple. Let me add that in. Let me make sure I did that right. Yes. Okay, so let's check and see what we have in our HTML. Oh, let's save it. That scared me. So this is what we have right now. We have a calculator that looks like it could be a calculator. We click the buttons and nothing comes on this display right here. This is our display. This is this right here. Our input type text ID display. That's this right here. But we don't have any of this. And by the way, if you want to see the full code as well and practice off what I've done, you can fork it off of my code pen, which is just Austin Tice. And feel free to check me out and give me a follow on there. I'd much appreciate it. Enough self-promotion. Let's go ahead and jump in to our CSS and see if we can't get some stuff done there real quick. So first thing I'm going to do, just for style's sakes, is go in, mess with our H1. I'm going to add a text align center to that. Margin top 150 pixels. Color, make it real nice and dark. And feel free, you guys, in the comments, let me know if you want me to do any of these coding challenges, because this is actually not a coding challenge, but something that I saw that people were always having questions on Stack Overflow, was stuff to have to do with calculators. And this isn't necessarily their questions. Their questions were more geared to how to get things to not have double zeros and you know, things like that, a little more complicated. But I really thought there would be a cool need for beginners who are similar to myself to see how to make a calculator. And right now, let me go ahead and do this, and that way I want to keep y'all checked in and show you exactly what I'm doing, because I'm kind of just typing while I'm doing like a talk, but I'm actually typing while I'm doing this. So it's a little bit weird to stay in the zone. I'm sort of just freeballing this, seeing what I think would look good. So I probably should have done this in CodePen actually. Let's see what this looks like so far. So this is what we have. This is how big our calculator is going to be. I made that width 250, height 350, and there's the border around it. See if I can make that a little thinner. I always like really thin borders. Let's go in. Let's take that. Now watch this. That's centered it. For those of you that don't know that, that's a whole nother series I'll make, but a lot of people have a lot of issues aligning things in the center. That is one of the daunting things of the CSS practice, but it's something that everyone should probably learn how to do. Alright, now I'm going to add some shadow to our calculator just to give it a little bit of flair. I love adding box shadow to things. It's very nifty, and just to give you some perspective, it just gives it kind of a 3D, almost like it's popping out at you feel. Now obviously you don't want to go overboard and do like 100 or something. You know, I actually kind of like that. I might go like 80. Yeah, we'll do that just because it gives it some cool feel, and it's gray, and you know, you can do all kinds of stuff with box shadow. You can look up on W3 Schools. They have a bunch of really cool stuff. And I stole this color from Apple's website, which I really like. This is my gray right here. I really like that gray for some reason. It just gets me. Alright, now let's jump into messing with this display right here. Let's make it fit nice and cozy. So let's bring it down a little bit from the top. Say margin top about 30 pixels, and we'll keep it away from the bottom. Why did I put top again? Like that. We'll give it a height of roughly 30 pixels, a width of 220 pixels. We'll keep, so this is important too. Whenever you type it in a calculator, you want the text to show up over here. So just to show you, now whenever, well, what did I do here? Because that text should be aligning to the right side. Let me see. What did I do here? I'll figure it out in a second. I don't know what happened. Let's just keep going, and I'll deal with it in a little bit. Let's add our border around it. I'm also probably going to add a little bit of box shadow around the display itself, much lighter than the outside, but just a little bit to give it a little bit of flair, maybe like 10 or 15 pixels. Then we'll just do gray again. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that's why I didn't refresh the page. So now the text is showing up on the right. So in theory, if you click the button on the calculator, you would want it to pop up on the right side, not on the left side. So now we got that, and let's go ahead and change the font size to 20 pixels. I could have done a lot of this shorthand, like I could have done font instead of font and font weight, but I like to show you kind of what's going on in the code. You know, it makes more sense to do it that way. And then we'll go like this. And now the text is showing up nice and bold. You can type in whatever you want, but the buttons still aren't clicking, right? We'll get to that though. We're gonna get to that. I promise. Have faith in me. Alright, I think we need to have this input with a border of none, if I remember correctly. And there was something else. Now that I just remembered with the display that they didn't, I think it was this right here. Let me see. That's what it was. That way you can't necessarily click it. So it's disabled. That way you can't click it, but we'll do it both ways. For now, let's just leave it at disabled. That way, because now I'm clicking and I can't touch it. And then we still got these keys, blah, blah, blah. Let's get this fixed, because this is an ugly calculator. Let's get this fixed. We got the input, border none. All that's doing is it's saying, I don't want any border on these inputs. That's the prefix border. We'll make that go away. Now let's style our keys individually. Let's get some fun going now. Let me get some space so that you guys can see what's going on. So we got our keys right here. Let's give them a width of 40 pixels. Height 35 pixels. And keep in mind, I've done this before I made this video. So you kind of just have to tinker with this kind of stuff, because you're never going to really know exactly what it should be. Sometimes you want it bigger, sometimes you want it smaller, but you just have to mess around with it and see what you think looks best. And then eventually you'll end up finding something you really like. Let's do 10. That's too much. Let's do 5 pixels on the keys themselves. We'll do that gray again. Let's see what we got right now. See what I mean? Doesn't that look so nice? Now I gotta get that outline style out, but I'll do that in just a sec. That is for those of you. Oh, and also this is important. Whoa, I just sounded like Daffy Duck. So what happens now is whenever I hover over it, it will give me a pointer. This is the internet's way of saying click me, click me, click me. I'm clickable. That's what you're gonna want to do. And let's go ahead and make the background color of the keys, make it white. That's that FFF. So now we got white keys. Now let's get rid of this default right here, this outline style. We want this to be none. And now when I refresh and I click, that doesn't pop up because it's very ugly, very annoying. We'll make our own little thing to mess with. And let's make the font size actually a little bit bigger, about 2 M's. Whoa, it's a little bit big, mate. Still a bit big. Still a bit big. Alright, I like that. I like 1M. 1M. I'm okay with that. Now let's do to where when we hover over them, we get some cool animations and cool colors. So let's say dot keys, hover. We'll say background CCC. That way when we hover it gives us this nice dark gray. Or not dark gray, but a little bit darker, and it changes the color of the text from black to white. And we'll make the font go bold. So now let's see what we just did. So now when we hover over these, it's making that font nice and readable. Kind of lets you know where you're at. It's a very intuitive thing to do hovers. Almost every website has it, so it's very important. Let's do keys focus. That's going to be when we're clicking it. And let's just make some sort of border around it, maybe a border of 1 pixel solid black. Whenever we yikes, didn't mean to do that. Whenever we click it. So when we click it, ooh, I don't really like that. Let's do something fun. Let's do like a dotted. Oh, see, that's fun. I like the dotted. Let's see what 2 pixels looks like out of curiosity. Ah. Oh, let's do that. That looks cool. All right, let's do that. Oh, and we need to fix our equal sign right here. We need to fix our equal sign. And remember, we made that class equal. So now we can go into our equal sign. Let's move it over a little bit. Margin left 13 pixels. Remember, we want this one to be almost double the width. So we'll make that width 90 pixels. Height also 35 pixels. Cursor pointer. That way it hovers nice and clicky. And we'll take its outline style to none. Now we got, ooh, that looks weird though. It looks a little out of place for my taste. Let's apply this actually. Let's apply all these functions right here. Equal hover and dot equal focus. That way we get the same feedback. Maybe it'll look different, I don't know. Still looks the same. Oh. Okay, so what have I done here? I've done something wrong. Let's see. Keys hover equal hover. Oh, I have to. I'm so dumb. I thought I did save it. Well, no, it's still not showing up. Oh my god. Me so silly. Oh, and it needs box shadow. I think I had 5 pixels on the keys. There we go. It still looks a little out of place. Let me see if I can. I don't think that's helping anything. Am I even doing anything? I'm just curious. Sometimes I like to do that just to see if I'm even doing anything. Let's just do maybe a. What in the world? Alright, you know what? I don't care. It looks fine. You can't really tell. It probably could go up a little bit, but honestly, whatever. It looks fine. I'm over it. So now let's work on just getting to where when I click these, something pops up on the screen, because that's really what we want. I'm pretty sure we're done with CSS. Everything looks pretty functional. Except when I click that, it does a weird thing. I don't like that. So where did I set the font size? Here we go. No, that's the display. Let's do 0.8. There we go. Okay, now it's not doing weird stuff. So now we got that. Let's go to the fun stuff, which is the JavaScript. This is my favorite. So first thing we have to do is we need to make this. We need to make a variable that describes this display. So let's say variable box, we'll call it box, equals document dot get element by ID, and keep in mind we called that ID display, which is this right here. So get element by ID display. We'll save that, and then we will use that momentarily. And now keep in mind, remember this right here, this function we have on click add to screen right here. So if I go down here and I say function add to screen, and then I say box dot value equals X, and I save it. Check this out. Oh, I've already done something wrong, I see. That's never fun. Main.js 3. That was quick. Oh my god. I feel very actually I need to pass in X as well. Very, very special today. Index HTML. Backspace is not defined. Yeah, that's okay. I wonder why this isn't working. Or 7 or 4. What have I done here? Let me analyze for a moment. Box.value plus equals x. So let's analyze this a little bit further, because it seems I've done something a bit odd. And I did do the add to screen correctly. So box index, get element by ID. That's weird that it's not printing. I'm quite worried that I've done something wrong, because I'm passing in x as my parameter. And I'm really trying to figure out what I did wrong here. Did I put a capital? No. I don't think this is it. Let's see. No, that wasn't it. Give me a moment. It's good for y'all to see stuff like this, to see how to troubleshoot stuff, because I really don't know what I've done here, and now I am in a frenzy trying to figure this out. This is right, I feel like. What am I missing? I'm sure someone watching this right now is just like, how could you possibly miss this? You're so dumb. Yes, that is probably true. To have a bug on the very first line of JavaScript is never the plan. That is for sure. I'm very curious why this is happening. Let me see if I can get this figured out. Let me pause the video, and then I'm gonna jump back, and once I figure this out, I'm gonna jump back.
2 hours later.
So yes, I am back. And for those of you thinking to yourself, how did you not realize that? Or I didn't see anything wrong either. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to coding, because the reason it was wrong is because I had double parentheses right here. Why did I just say that? Not parentheses, quotation marks. You need to just put one quotation mark, just like that, a little tick. Because inside JavaScript, when you're inside to, which I am in this little function, it's put in HTML, onClick is works through JavaScript. I have to put one on this inside because it's wrapped in two. Now there are some ways to break it by putting things like this and etc. But for the sake of this, it was my fault. I should have realized that when I did the HTML, but I wasn't paying attention. And now if you take a look, we have the same function set up, and we can just go in, and now it's working just perfectly. But one thing I wanted to point out that you have to be careful of is if you have box value just equal to x like this, I can only put in one number at a time, because what's happening is it's taking this add to screen function and this parameter x, and it's saying the value of box, which is this display, which is this, the value of it, this number is x, and x add to screen is add to screen 9 per se. So if I click 9, 9 is the current value. So if I said, if I went in here right now to the console and I said console.log box.value, it's going to give me 9, because 9 is the current value of the box value. So if I add a plus here, whoa, not there, here, I'm saying box.value plus equals x, which in theory is saying box.value equals box.value plus x. It's just a simpler way to say it. Okay? Now I have an unorthodox way. Let me get back to this. I want to make this button right here. Now it just pops up C because we have our add to screen C right here, right? But what I want to do is I'm going to do something a little different. And I'm going to say if box.value, actually that's not right, if x is equal. Now this is an important lesson. I'm not going to jump into it. If you want to look into this, you can look onto it further, but keep in mind that there is a difference between double equals and triple equals. Okay, to give you a short example without going into too much detail like I just said I wouldn't, but it looks like I'm going to, you could say 5 equals 5, but you cannot say 5 equals 5. Not with 3 equals. That's wrong. Think about that. If you need to think about it further, then maybe you should check out W3 Schools and check that out. This is not for that video. Now we're just trying to build this calculator, and this video has been going on for far too long. So now let's do our single quotes again. And now we're going to say if box.values x, right here, if this is equal to C, which is our parameter passed in right here, then what I want to do is I want to make box.value equal to nothing. Basically clearing the screen. So look, if I have 88888 and I click C, well, all I'm doing here, so right now box.value right here is 98,755. When I click this C, the computer thinks now the box.value is nothing. It's this empty string. There's several ways you could do this, but this is how I'm choosing to do it, the easy way. Like I said, this isn't the way you would want to do it if you were making a real functional calculator. But for our sakes, we just want to learn how to do it. So, other than that, let's go ahead and jump into the next function, which would be, what did I call it? Answer. We'll do that one first. Alright, we'll do function answer. And now we're going to do x equal to box.value. And then basically this is going to say x right here is equal to the box.value. And then we're going to change it. We're going to say a built-in JavaScript function called eval. We're going to say evaluate x. And then I want you to re-spit out that. And I want you to make the box value equal x again. Just re-evaluating. So now when I say 7 times 7, click equals, now we have a semi-functioning calculator. Now we have a very nice working calculator. Now keep in mind, this is a function that's written behind the scenes in a JavaScript, like for JavaScript. This is not something I made, this eval function right here. So keep that in mind. Now let's go, what's our next one? Let's do backspace. Oh my god. I just deleted my main.js file. Okay, now we're back. We'll say function backspace. And here we're going to have to make a couple variables. This shouldn't be too hard. We're going to have to do a little bit of complication here, but it shouldn't be too bad. So let's make a variable number, and we'll set it equal to the box value. And then let's say the length. This is going to be the length of, keep in mind, this is for this button, this clear entry. This is going to be the length of box value. So variable length is equal to number.length minus 1. We do that because JavaScript is 0 indexed. And then you'll say variable new number equals number dot substring 0 length. Let's just see what's going on here. So now we're making a new number, Okay, so what we're doing is right here we're taking whatever number and we're saying that's equal to the box value. That's the new number. Like right now the number is 88. Number is equal to the box value, which is up here. Now we're saying the length is equal to the number dot length, which in this case in JavaScript, well in our case this would be 2, okay, and then we're subtracting 1. So variable new number is a new variable saying I want the number substring, which always takes 2 parameters, and 1 is the starting point and 1 is the ending point, and the ending point is the length. The ending point is this last 8 right here, right? So now, well, actually I do need to finish this. Box value is equal to new number. So that should be functioning. Let's see. Okay, it's not functioning. So I did something wrong here. Let's just take another look at it. Length equals number length minus 1. Variable new number equals number dot substring 0 length. Box dot value equals new number. Okay. Oh, there we go. I keep forgetting to refresh the page. I really need to get live update set up. So now we can clear the entry just like this. Very nice. And maybe get it to where if you hold it or something like that, it's just like if you backspace. Very cool. It's just taking the length, taking this substring, and every time you subtract it, it's a new value. It's just creating a new box value. Alright. I think we have one more function left to do, and then we'll wrap up this video. It's been a very long video, but you know, we learned how to make a calculator in one video. It's very important. This is a monumental step in your development career. So this is what we're going to do here. We're going to make this power function, because right now when I click this, nothing is happening. So let's go here, and we'll make a function called power. And let's pass in a y for that. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to be evaluating in a sense. Not going to be called evaluate. We're going to do a math power. It's another built-in function. And then we're going to say x is equal to math.pow, which is power. And then we're going to pass in our x and y, which is going to be x is right here. And then our power is going to be the y, which would be the 3. And that's why here our power is 3. So it's always going to be passed in 3. Just like if I wanted to do it. Just like if I wanted to, I'll show you how to do that in a second. If I wanted to square it, there's another way you could do that. Box value equal x. So now it should 3 cubed be 3 times 3 times 3. So it should be 27. Right? Isn't that pretty cool? 2 times 2 times 2? 8. But if I wanted it to square, I wanted to make this x squared, could jump over here. Don't even have to change the code. Refresh the page. 8 squared 64. 2 squared is 4. You could do everything you wanted to do. You know, really, it's really cool stuff. But other than that, I think we have officially wrapped up our first calculator. I just realized that my fan has been on this entire time, so if that's been in the background, I do apologize. But other than that, guys, really awesome job. I hope you followed along, and if you want to make another one in the comments or send me your critics, I know this equals button is bad, and like I said, this wasn't meant to be the perfect calculator. This was meant to show you the basic functionalities and how to make a simple calculator. I mean, this is 32 lines of JavaScript. It's pretty simple stuff. So let me know what you think. Leave a like, subscribe, and as always, it's been fun. Peace.